Assalamu alaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Amelia Binti Colin McKenna, and today I will be presenting a reflection based on Gibbs's reflective cycle. The symbolic object I chose is a brand new pen, which represents my identity, values, and growth as a future ESL teacher. Before becoming a teacher, I experienced a moment during my studies that opened my eyes to the realities of teaching, especially when it comes to supporting students who struggle with speaking. During one practice session, my group mates were extremely quiet and hesitant to participate. As someone who came from a background where English was used comfortably, I didn't expect such silence. I found myself carrying the entire 12-minute speaking task while everyone else avoided participating. At the time, I was still a student, but the way I handled the situation, pausing the activity, asking questions, guiding the group, became my first taste of what teaching truly feels like. This is where the brand new pen becomes meaningful. A new pen is full of unused ink, as you can see. It's very full. And just like that ink, I realized that I had knowledge, patience, and empathy to offer even before officially becoming a teacher. And this incident became the foundation of the kind of teacher I aspire to be. At first, I was confused and maybe even a bit frustrated. I assumed everyone had the same level of confidence in English, which was my mistake. When my group mates remained silent, I felt the pressure of filling in every gap, every pause, every moment where someone should have spoken. However, once I recognized that the silence came from anxiety, not laziness, my feelings changed. I felt responsible. I felt motivated, and most importantly, I felt something awaken inside of me. The instinct to guide, to reassure, and to support. Looking back now, as a future teacher, I realized that moment planted the emotional seeds of my teaching identity. Reflecting on the situation now, I see both strengths and weaknesses that influenced my development. On a positive note, I recognized my group mates' emotional struggles. I adapted quickly by asking questions and guiding them. I stepped into the teaching role naturally, even without training, and it helped me understand the importance of patience and emotional awareness. However, on the other hand, I had made the mistake of assuming everyone had a similar language background as I did. This made me feel frustrated before I could understand the real issue. I didn't consider how intimidating speaking tasks can be for many learners, and I realized that I needed more strategies for supporting anxious students. I feel that this evaluation helped shape the kind of educator that I want to become, one who listens first and responds second. Now, to further understand the incident more deeply, I connected it to two important theories that guide my future teaching philosophy. The first is Creation's effective filter hypothesis. Creation explains that emotions like fear and anxiety can block language production. That was exactly what happened with my group mates. Their silence wasn't caused by a lack of understanding, but it was caused by internal pressure, fear of judgment, and low confidence. As a future teacher, this taught me that emotions must be addressed before language can flow. And the second theory is Vygotsky's social-cultural theory. Yes. Vygotsky emphasizes learning through social interaction, especially with a more knowledgeable other. And during this experience, I stepped into that role, guiding, modeling answers, and breaking the concepts down into smaller, easier to digest forms. This taught me that teaching isn't just transferring information. It's about building relationships and scaffolding the learners step by step. Both these theories help me understand the kind of classroom environment that I want to build, which is safe, supportive, and of course, learner-centered. This incident, it deeply shaped my identity as a future educator. It changed the way I understand learning, communication, and emotional support. In my opinion, a brand new pen really does symbolize this journey. Take a pen that's full of ink. This full cartridge of ink represents the potential, the ideas, and the passion that a teacher has. And as we know, pens are guided by the hands, meaning that each time I use this pen as a future teacher, I will be continually guided by experience and further reflections. Now, as we know, pens, as we use them, their ink starts to run out, and eventually it runs out completely. This represents the exhaustion that teachers face. However, pens can be refilled. And when that ink is refilled, it's a renewed motivation through student success. This simple object reminds me that teaching requires patience, empathy, and continuous growth. As I move forward into my teaching career, I will introduce simpler speaking tasks first to build student confidence. I will use scaffolding techniques like modeling, sentence starters, and examples. I will pay attention to emotional cues to lower students' affective filters. I, above all, will avoid assumptions about students' language backgrounds, and I will reflect consistently using frameworks like DIBS to improve my practice. Most importantly, I will carry the lesson that teaching begins long before the actual classroom. Teaching, it starts with empathy, awareness, and the willingness to help others grow. Thank you for listening to my short talk about why this pen is the object I chose, and I look forward to applying my own sort of theory in my future classes. Thank you.